Hello students, welcome to the session on Engineering Economics. I am Mr. Manoj H. Mota, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering. Let's learn about the Engineering Economics. The outcome of this session. At the end of this session, you will be in position to discuss the elements of economics and the interaction between various components like demand and supply and its effect on various allied things. So, engineering economics. As we are aware, the efficient functioning of any business organization would enable it to provide goods or any services at lower price. Rather, this lower price itself will decide whether any business organization is efficient enough to perform or not. In the process of managing organization, the managers at different levels should take appropriate economic decisions which will help in minimizing investment, operating and maintenance expenditure, besides increasing the revenue, saving and such other gain of the organization. All these things can be achieved through engineering economics. The engineering economics deals with the method that enables one to make economic decision towards minimizing cost and maximizing benefit to the business organization. Now we'll try to understand first the basic term economic or economics. It is a study of economic problems of the people concerning production, consumption, exchange and distribution of wealth or distribution of money in simple words. Economics is the science that deals with the production and consumption of goods and services, that the distribution and rendering of these for human welfare. The following are the economic goal for anyone: a high level of employment, price stability of the product, efficiency and equitable distribution of income. So all these are the different aspects of an economical study, and at last the growth of the organization or an individual too. Flow in economy: the flow of goods, services, resources and money payments in a simple economy. Household and business are the two major entities in simple economy. So business organizations use various economical resources like land, labor and capital, which are provided by the household economy, and these household economy is providing it to produce the goods and services which will be used by these consumers. Business organizations make payments of money to the households to receiving these resources. So these resources, those can be paid by the business organization. These resources can be in terms of land. They purchase land and pay. They employ good number of laborers and they pay. And they even attract good amount of capital from the market, and in terms they provide them the returns. So these all are the aspects of business organization. The household in turn make payment of money to business organization for receiving consumer goods and services. So this cycle shows the interdependence between these two major entities in a simple economy. So these two are interdependent on each other. So laws of supply and demand. Supply and demand are two major terms used in any economical consideration. Rather, economy depends on these two factors most of the times, and these two factors determine the stability in terms of economy. If supply increases as compared to demand, then generally price falls. On other hand, if demand exceeds the supply, then price rise. In simple words, we can say that this is the basic law of supply and demand. Let's try to understand it in depth. So laws of supply. So laws of supply states that the quantity of a commodity supplied varies directly with the price. other determinants of supply remaining constant. So in simple words, we can say that the quantity of commodity supply will be vary, and if it has been increased, then the price even will be increased. On other hand, if the supply get decreased, its demand even will be reduced. If a cost inputs increases, then naturally the cost of product will go up. In such situation, at a prevailing price or fixed price of selling of any product, the profit margin per unit will be very less. This is very simple thing to understand. The producers will then reduce the production quantity, which in turn will affect the supply of the product. As they are reducing the production because of the lower profit margins, obviously their overall production will be getting affected and it will be reduced, and again the total supply made to the market will be reduced. For instance, if the price of fertilizers and the cost of labor are increased significantly in agriculture field, the profit margin per bag of say a paddy will be reduced. So the effect of this will be directly onto the farmer. So the farmer will reduce the area of cultivation because obviously they are getting much lesser profit in producing this particular crop as such. So they will reduce the area of cultivation, and hence the quantity of supply of paddy will be reduced at the prevailing price of the paddy. If there is an advancement in technology used in the manufacture of the product, in the long run there will be a reduction in the production cost per unit. This will enable the manufacturer to have a greater profit margin per unit at the prevailing price of the product. Hence, the producer will be tempted to supply more quantity to the market. So this is another example how the supply affects the market condition. Weather also has a direct bearing onto the supply of number of products. For example, demand for woolen products will increase during winter. This means that the prices of woolen goods will be much higher in winter as compared to other season. So naturally, manufacturers will supply more volume of woolen goods during the winter and they won't supply it during the other part of the seasons. So by understanding this, we can say that the supply curve is affected by the following factors. First is the cost of the inputs, second the technology, and third is the weather. Along with this, the prices of related goods even affect the supply curve. Now let's try to understand the law of demand. Law of demand states that the other things being equal, demand when price falls and contracts when price rises. Market demand is total quantity demanded by the purchasers together. So it is nothing but a demand is nothing but the overall quantity a market wants from a producer. Elasticity of demand. Let's try to understand this simple concept. So elasticity of demand may be defined as a degree of responsiveness of the quantity demanded to a change in price. Generally what happens is that when there is a high demand and because of which there is change in the price and price get increased, the obviously total quantity demanded becomes lesser, and vice versa case is even true. So supply of a product are interdependent and they are sensitive with respect to the price of that product. When there is a decrease in the price of a product, the demand of a product increases and its supply decreases. The product is more in demand and hence the demand of product increases. At the same time, lowering the price of a product makes the producer restrain from releasing more quantities of product into the market. Hence, the supply of product is decreased. The point of intersection of the supply curve and demand curve is known as equilibrium point and is the ideal point where any organization will perform to have the maximum amount of profits or gains and with the lowest possible investments to be made. At the price corresponding to this point, the quantity of supply is equal to the quantity of demand. Hence, this point is called as an equilibrium point. Now, factors influencing the demand. The demand curve is influenced by following factors. Income of the people. As the income of the people increases, generally you will find that the demand increases as the persons or the community has a good amount of money available for the expenditure or investment. They will tend to produce, or they will tend to buy rather, the good amount of goods. Prices of related goods. As the prices increases, generally the demand decreases. On other hand, if the price has been reduced, then the persons even may buy the same good even if that is not so essential. And third is the taste of consumers. This is directly related with the demand of a particular thing from a consumer and the expected quality. So as the taste of consumer changes, one must be flexible enough to make the changes into the products. For a civil engineering, as now in few years back everyone was very much happy to buy a bungalow. Say around 30 years back, no one was thinking critically about having the flats. But as now the particular taste of consumer has been changed, and particularly in metropolitan cities, everyone is looking for having the small houses because of the increased prices. One should look after the production of such thing. So, concept of engineering economics. After learning all these basics, we can now think something about the engineering economics. Now, as we are aware, science is a field of study where the basic principles of different physical systems are formulated and tested, while the engineering is the application of these scientific laws. It establishes various application systems based on different scientific principles. Price has a major role in deciding the demand and supply of product. Hence, from the organization's point of view, efficient and effective functioning of the organization would certainly help it to provide goods or services at lower cost, which in turn will enable it to fix a lower price for its goods or services. So, technical efficiency. Technical efficiency is nothing but the ratio of output to input. The physical system may be diesel engine machine working in a shop floor or something like that. In practice, as we are aware that technical efficiency can never be more than 100%. Well, economic efficiency. Economic efficiency is the ratio of output to input of a business system. This can be understood by having the two terms like worth and cost replacing output and input. Worth is the annual revenue generated by way of operating the business, and cost is the total annual expenses that has been done. For a survival and growth of any business, the economic efficiency should be more than 100%, or worth should be more than the cost invested. So economic efficiency is also called as an productivity. In the process of managing organizations, the managers at different levels take appropriate economic decisions, as we have seen earlier, and the ultimate goal is to increase the revenue, saving and related gains. So, an engineering is an important part of economy. The knowledge of engineering economics is mandatory for all engineers, as it covers the economic of the management, operation, growth and profitability, macro level engineering economic trends and issues, engineering products, markets and factors influencing demand, and the development, marketing and financing of new engineering technologies and products. So engineering economics deals with all such methods to take the economical decision and maximizing the benefits to the business organization. So that's it for this session. Let's meet in the next session to learn more. And thank you for your patience, listening and learning. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.